welcome the daughters as royal goddess to rise, you know, this is our hymn, taken from the sacred songs and solo. Sing them over again to me.
Sing them over again to me.
Wonderful words of life.
Wonderful words of life.
Let me more of their beauty see.
Let me more of their beauty.
Wonderful words of life.
Wonderful words of life.
Words of life and beauty.
Words of life and beauty.
Faith and
Teach me faith and beauty.
Blessed love. Each and every one. Yeah, give thanks, not necessarily chalice talk, but we elevate it. This is still a short chant. Short chant, man. From me, don't rush the brush. Wonderful program this evening. We want to know if the woman really, don't worry, we'll enjoy the meditation. I'm coming to you right now. Welcome the daughters of Zion, yo. King Emmanuel I, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. Wonderful. Give thanks, life giver and the keeper of life. Give thanks to the Father and the Mother of creation. Yes, we're thankful at this moment, King Alpha and Queen Omega, as we say in the Rastafari tradition. Let me say blessed love to all those who are definitely here with us in the Tiger's Nest. Oh yes, as we are very thankful for your presence. As I say, what we are planning to do this evening, we don't intend to take too long on this subject area here, but we found that this is something important that we thought we should touch upon as well. You know, should the Rastafari woman have the opportunity to speak in the church? You know, very specific subject, not just the speaking, but in the church. You know, and this is not the gossip program here, and this is something that I've noticed and something I said I wanted to delve into for a while. And the Spirit said, okay, now, my Lord, now is the time to touch upon it. Now, you know, in general, you would hear about the woman being oppressed, downpressed, and forgotten, ostracized, second class, under the man, all of these different things, to the point that even when it comes to the whole aspect of the creator, when you speak of God, God is just automatically a man. You know, in many cases, there's not even room for debate, you know, to say, well, it could be both. No, it's impossible. And you know, these different things. So really, at least in the time that we came up in, and even just studying history alone, woman has always seemed to be somehow in the second class position, to the point that if they excel, it's something to literally you know, highlight because the woman has excelled. All right, so it has even reached to the point now where you find the woman rebelling on a level where she wants to do everything that the man does, and be equal. And equality doesn't mean do everything that the other person doesn't. You know, everyone has their own duty and their own mission on the face of the planet. So bringing all that now, I'm not going to stay too long there right now, you know, bringing it down to the subject area, bringing that now to the concept of the woman in the church in general, because, you know, in churches as we know them and mosque and all of these things, the woman doesn't usually have a position of prominence, really. In fact, it is only in this latter time that you would have certain institutions really giving the woman a position to be the pastor of the church there, or to lead a service there. But at a time that was almost impossible to see anywhere, and it's still something that is not in any high ranking. It's very minimal anywhere you go to see any woman preaching to any congregation. That's just reality. It happens, eh? In the Christian world, it happens. I don't know if it happens in the Muslim world. I know you study Islam a bit more. I don't think women's are imams. Yeah, I don't think so. Right. So that's just the reality of it, you know. I mean, I always say, some people may think I'm fiery and I'm too serious or whatever. I always say, man, if I was a woman, maybe I'd be more serious than this, you know, just to say, hey, I'm here too. And I could understand it, eh? Because the real power of the woman in general is something that is being oppressed and downpressed and suppressed in many different angles, many different places, you know, and Rastafari itself is not something that is exempt from that. And I know some will say, no, man, Rasta not depressed, no woman, man, Rasta this and that. Well, ask the woman then. Okay? You as a man can't really talk for a woman. Ask the woman. But anyway, I'm talking about the woman speaking now, expressing herself in the church. This is not supposed to take forever. The other day we did an interview with Bongo Wisely. And Bongo Wisely spoke specifically of the time when they had this conference. I'm sure you remember the discussion. Bongo Wisely was speaking of the time that they had the conference. I think it was in Jamaica. And he was saying this is 1983, interestingly. And he was saying this is the very first time that a woman got an opportunity to speak to the Bingi house. Albeit, I think, again, it was in a conference sort of environment, if I'm not mistaken, the audience, like a conference. I'd have to watch that video again, because I don't think it was in the Tabernacle self. But Bongo Wisely being, of course, the elder, the esteemed elder that he is, all enough respect to that elder there for sure. And of sound mind, I'd assume if he was to recognize the sister being able to address the house, he would know whatever, wherever it was an environment that usually the woman is not given that position there to address the house. That's so he would know that, Bongo Wisely. And I listened, and of course, we're not there to conflict anything. But I listened, and I was saying to myself, wow, again, interestingly, now the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress Woman Freedom Liberation League was established since 1980. It's 80 or 81? 1980, give thanks. And from being established since that time, now remember, the Honorable Elder said that in 1983, that's from his record, that's the first time. And in fact, Sister Ijania, such an intelligent woman, as those of us who know her, know that she is qualified to address anybody. You know what I'm talking about. And she's like a mother figure to I, and I'm sure many want, so you will understand the feeling there. And of course, her intelligence and just her angelic spirit thereof. So me personally, I don't see that there should be even a question that we sit and hear what the mama have to say. That's our African tradition, that's our African tradition. But anyway, the elders had to convene and they had a little conference. It didn't take too long, according to Elder Wisely, and they said, hey, listen, man, make us speak and give thanks for that. As an individual, personally, again, that I would say I've come up around the Bingi house for sure. I've spoken about that in length several videos back. And I know for sure that the woman is not supposed to, at least that's how I learned it coming up in the Bingi. My vibes coming up in that is a different thing. It's like a unique story as a Bobo Shanti coming up around the Naya Bingi order. Interesting sort of story. Just as I know the Bobo Shanti order, I know the Bingi order. I know it. You check it. Never, I would say just as, because I never practice it as such, because I've ever been Bobo Shanti. But I was there. Remember, Bobo Shanti wasn't here like that. It was like almost like a lone personality at the moment, as I refer to myself, for a short time until different individuals start to spring up and the Bobo Shanti order started to grow. So at the time, I was just by myself as Bobo Shanti. That's just the truth. Seeing the Bingi order, because it's Rastafari, I love. I cite King Emmanuel. These other brothers and sisters don't seem to check for the Emmanuel thing, but I still love them. And it's Rastafari, and I see the Bingi, and I see it grow, and I understand it. And from my knowledge, the woman was never given that position there to be speaking in the service as such. It was never nothing too hardcore against a woman talking, but in the tabernacle, that wasn't something at all that I've ever seen, really. And herein coming the reasoning that we had when we remember we did a program with a woman in the Bobo Shanti Trinity. And if you saw it, you would obviously see it went more than just where's the woman in the Trinity. We went into talking about the concept of the priestess and all of these different things. Bobo Shanti specifically, we don't, women are empresses, prophetesses. I never heard the priestess title being used at all. But we broke that down and explained that, you know, and the whole semantics of it. Because if you want to define what a priestess is, just like what a priest is, someone that officiates or officiates the ceremony. As we said, a priest is a masculine term, and just like God, you actually have to create a word to make it feminine, goddess. It's like almost like a creation and added to it, goddess by itself, you know, and that's the whole mystic with the language. But again, it is when I saw the Bobo Shanti order now, where I saw the woman, well, technically officiating. You know, you just heard it a while ago, a moment ago. It's the daughters of Zion that rose, that hymn that began the, if you listen to what was going on, could sing them over again for me. You know, we asked one of the goddess of Zion to rise this hymn. I don't know what kind of celebration it was. Maybe it was a woman freedom liberation day. You know, and we've done programs where we show you and explain properly how within the Bobo Shanti order, can't speak of the Nyabingi order now. Well, I can speak of it, I should say, but I represent the order of King Emmanuel, and the expression in the tabernacle, number one, has always been there. Of course, in a specific order, it is orderly for sure, but it has never been something that is absent. So as I said, the woman will carry an all-night bingy. Can you imagine that woman, you know? The woman them carrying an all-night bingy. The 1st of August, March, when you go and you march up to the government house, is the woman really supposed to be in front of you? And after you tried on the Peace, Perfect Peace hymn, and I don't know if there's another hymn that they would sing. The woman rocked the bingy in front of Governor General. You know, man, black over white and banner belly with the black string. And we've showed you those clips. You could visit YouTube and see those clips. So I can only say, and this is not to conflict with nobody, I can only say that as far as Bobo Shanti, I've always seen that there's an expression that the woman has within the service I'm talking about, where she's officiating to some degree with the assistance of the priest. You know, there's a specific box. If you're in the tabernacle, those that know the order well, if you're in the tabernacle now and you're facing to the west, to your left, if I'm correct, there's something that would be in the right settings of the tabernacle. There's something known as a justice box. And in the justice box, tabernacle, I'm talking again, the church, if you want to call it that. In the justice box, the woman would actually go and present herself and speak her piece. It's called a justice box. So it's not just singing and not just singing the hymn or rising the hymn. It's not just rising the chorus and chanting, because the woman chanting too, just like how you see the man them chanting everything. The woman chant inside inside the service itself. As I said, celebration time and specifically during that time of the 1st of August as well, and the justice box is there. So I'm only saying all of this to show that when the brother was saying that, when he was saying in 1983, that was the first time that a woman spoke to the elders and so on, so on, so on. Now, you see, I mean, but by that time, for sure, all what I just explained to you, by that time, Bobo Shanti was already at that level and that standard, and that's just the reality of it. Now, I'm bringing that in to highlight because, you know, I have a good brethren here. I can call his name one of them time. And myself and him, good brother. He's a bingy brother. We always with this specific conversation here. Because he don't believe a woman should even sneeze inside of the tabernacle. Boy, I don't even think I exaggerated when I say that, because the way he's so hot with that, I'm telling you, I bring him up from time to time. Maybe I should bring him on the program one of these times to say his piece. If he would come, I'm telling you how serious my good brethren is about woman talking in tabernacle. When I explained to him like what I just explained, he said, "No, man, this is why I ain't be no Bobo no. Yeah, them had a thing wrong. Yeah, them make woman take over." Oh, hear that. This story here, what if I should read the whole of this here? Because we did a whole program on Huldah. Do you all remember Huldah? Maybe we did a whole thing on Huldah. In fact, when we had the lecture, the online lecture, not the Bible coded. What lecture was it? With Huldah. No, Huldah. Oh, Rastafari and the woman. Yes, Rastafari and the woman. We were speaking of Huldah in the university. Okay. Let me just run through part of it. What is happening here? Let me find it. The king, I think, is Josiah, and the priest Hilkiah, that's him, the priest Hilkiah. And you have the scribe, I think the scribe is Shaphan. Are you following me, people? Please follow me. What it was that they were dealing with some churchical stuff. And they happened to, I think it's the scribe, happened to come across the books of the law of Moses. 2 Chronicles, chapter 34. Where did I say? 2 Chronicles, chapter 34. So it says here, let me start at about verse 15. And Hilkiah answered and said to Shaphan the scribe, so it's the priest Hilkiah found the book. I found the book of the law of the book of the law in the house of the Lord, and Hilkiah delivered the book to Shaphan. Okay, so up here it says, verse 14, it says that he found the book of the law given by Moses. So it's the book of the Moses law. And Shaphan carried the book to the king and brought word to the king, and brought the king word back again, saying, all that was committed to thy servants, they do it. And they have gathered together the money that was found in the house of the Lord, and have delivered it into the hand of the overseer and to the hand of the workmen. Then Shaphan the scribe told the king, saying, Hilkiah the priest hath given me a book. And Shaphan read it before the king. And it came to pass, the king, when the king had heard the words of the Lord, that he rent his clothes. And the king commanded Hilkiah and Eliakim the son of Shaphan, and Abdon the son of Micah, and Shaphan the scribe, and Isaiah, a servant of the king's, saying, go inquire of the Lord here. Go inquire of the Lord. Of who? The Lord. Who? The Lord. God. The Lord. Go and inquire of the Lord. Not the mailman, not the milkman, the Lord. All right. And for them that are left in Israel and in Judah concerning the word of the book that is found. For great is the wrath of the Lord that is poured out upon us, because our fathers have not kept the word of the Lord to do after all that is written in this book. And Hilkiah and they that the king had appointed went to Huldah. Huldah, as a woman, they went to Huldah the prophetess. I wonder what they went to ask her. Maybe they went to check if she can show them how to find the Lord. Because remember, the king didn't tell them to go to Huldah. The king tell them to go to the Lord. In fact, before we go to who the king tell them to go to, let's spice up this story a little bit. These brothers just found the book of the law of Moses. That is very, very serious. So it's like they found the commandments or the Torah then, or something of the sort. The law, Moses' book, Genesis, Exodus, Deuteronomy, Leviticus, and Numbers. They found the fullness, the book of Moses. And you know who found it? Not a shepherd wandering in the desert, you know, like how they find the Dead Sea Scrolls and most of the things they found. The priests, the high priest, big man was collecting money from the people and making sure everything running good, and tithes and offerings and shekels of gold, and throw that ram on the fire and burn that lamb down the hill. That's what the man was up to. And he stumbled across the book of Moses. Nobody better could have found that book. The high priest. Hey, this is a serious story. I love this story so much, right? There's no one else better that could have discovered that book. The high priest Hilkiah himself. A just man too. A just man. And who he called? The scribe. Oh my. Top-ranking people. The scribe, that's the recorder, the interpreter. And say, boss, look what I find. And then man read that and scratch the head. Look at one another and say, you understand, boy, I can't figure it out. Yeah. They carry it to the king. He ripped off his clothes. He said, nah, man, this is something else. I mean, they understood the words, you know, they read it. And they picked up the vibes. But the allegory and the meaning and the symbolism was too heavy for the three of them put together to unravel. And they had to call a set of other people, PhD and bachelor degree people and a whole heap of people to walk behind them to go and find the Lord. And they came upon Samuel the prophet. No. Oh, Huldah, the wife of Shalom. I'm skin crawling when I talk about that, man. The son of Tikva, the son of Hasrah, the keeper of the wardrobe. Now she dwelt in Jerusalem. Listen. I hope you don't think, okay, we got the point, next video. No. This is warm up. I have something bigger coming behind it. This is the warm up. So for you who like to watch half the video and go, this is the warm up. All right. She dwelt in Jerusalem. Because we do this subject here already. This is a subject done over. This is something leading to something. All right. But anyway, she dwelled in Jerusalem, in the college. If you love Empress Menen, man, we getting there. And they spake to her to that effect. And she answered them, thus saith the Lord of Israel, tell ye the man that sent you to me. Hear this, the man. Because she going to tell them something. I'm not even going to read what she said. As I said, we did this subject on Huldah already. But she's going to tell them something from the Lord. And she's showing them, the man that sent you, tell him this, because he's not there. So he's not going to hear this. But they're going to hear what she's going to say now. And it's coming from the Lord. You know, when I show my brethren this, the brethren say, you see, that's why Christ had to make a new covenant. Because the old covenant mess up. Look how they make the woman teach them the law. Rasta man, Rasta brethren, Bible man too. I said, brethren, you carry anything too far now, man. I thought I would spark your heavens with this. You like that?
Yeah.
Wow, look at Empress Menen here. It's a beautiful picture. Empress Menen. This specific picture here, this picture here, princess, come and take a look. You don't have to come on camera, let's take a side. Yeah, this here is beautiful picture. I have several pictures of it, but this is a specific picture. This is at the monastery that was established by the mother. Let me just read this for you quickly. This is taken from the Institute of Palestine Studies, the monastery, the Ethiopian Empress, and the tales of two architects. I'm not going to go into all the architect stuff, tales there, but let me just see where I want to hit here. Deep in the July 18, 2020, deep in the Jordan Valley, east of Jericho, author Gabriel Poli, give thanks. Deep in the Jordan Valley, east of Jericho, at a site known as Kwas al Yahud, there is a gem of modernist Palestinian architecture. There is a gem of modern Palestinian architecture. The Ethiopian monastery of the Holy Trinity is a striking cuboid chapel with narrow windows that almost touch the flat roof. The curving ambulatory executed in white cement is almost reminiscent of Tel Aviv's Buharus architecture, brought to Palestine by Zionist settlers. Okay, pardon me. The story of this monastery conception brings together an Ethiopian empress, a colonial British architect, and a Palestinian Jerusalemite refugee in 1948. The Ethiopian Orthodox presence in Jerusalem sketches back centuries. The most prominent locations associated with Ethiopian Christianity are the Dar al-Sultan Monastery and the striking round church at Debra Gannat on Ethiopia Street in West Jerusalem, completed in 1896. Adawa. Good. No, 1896. Yeah, Adawa. Ethiopia's late 19th century rulers, Johannes IV, 1872 to 1889, and Menelik II, 1889 to 1913, encouraged the expansion of the Ethiopian monastic and lay communities in and around late Ottoman Jerusalem. Good stuff here. The construction of the Monastery of the Holy Trinity occurred in a very different context until the invasion of Mussolini's Mussolini, as he's called in the fascist forces in 1935. Ethiopia was one of only two African nations not under European rule, while Palestine had been under British occupation since 1917. Emperor Haile Selassie I, Holy Emmanuel Selassie Rastafari, who ruled from 1930 as emperor officially, visited Palestine several times during the Mandate period. At Easter 1924, he spent several weeks in Palestine before his first diplomatic trip to Europe, and then came back in May 1936 as an exile from the Italian occupation of his country. In September and October 1933, Empress Menen Officiates, Haile Selassie's wife. They have Selassie's wife. Come on, Polly. Do the thing properly. Emperor Haile Selassie's wife. Let me read that again. In September and October 1933, Empress, can you leave out Empress here? You just have Menen Officiates. Come on, brother. Oh, well, you know me. In September and October of 1933, Empress Menen Officiates, Emperor Haile Selassie the first wife and Empress of Ethiopia, and the Emperor of Ethiopia too, presided over the consecration of the monastery of the Holy Trinity. Prior to 1933, the Ethiopian monks had resided in a cluster of huts, worshipping in a roundhouse known as the Reed Church. And interesting, eh? Anyone that knows, the whole Bobo Shanti setup, you know the great roundhouse and Bobo Shanti here. You know, when I did radio in the early days, I always learned they said dead ear kill. So you're not supposed to be on the radio and you just not say nothing. And you're just quiet. Yeah. But the point was made. The point was so made that I had to go and research to figure out, just to be clear, what does it mean to preside over? Pardon me. What does it mean to preside over the consecration of a monastery? What's the priest talking about? To preside over. When there's a church ceremony going on, a churchical ceremony, the person that presides over it is the priest, the bishops. They preside over the ceremony. You with me, Awa? This article says in September and October 1933, Empress Menen Officiates, Emperor Haile Selassie's wife and Empress of Ethiopia, presided over the consecration of the monastery of the Holy Trinity. And this is the picture here to show you exactly what was happening. So now there are documents that go more into detail as it relates to this specific event. But this is something that is lost in history. When you see us speaking of here, well, obviously it's there. I'm not the editor of the PalestineStudies.org magazine thing here, an online publication. But this is not history you hear about. You don't even hear about Empress Menen. You hardly hear about Haile Selassie. Nobody teaching you about Ethiopia, much less to know that there was a monastery. Hear this now, man. Not a church, not just a church, a monastery. Monks in a man. Monks. Men that don't hang around women and so that. The monastery of the Holy Trinity. And to consecrate it, obviously bishops would be involved. As I said, even within the Bobo Shanti order, when the woman them having the Woman Liberation League celebration or whatever else, sometimes visitors, and so all when Marcus Garvey's son came, look at that video on YouTube, you see the empresses and the leading empress carry out vibes for the king. you know, but it's still officiated by the priest. So in this situation here, as you could even see with the pictures, that the bishops are there, the priests are there, the clergy and the deacons and who else have you are there. But the chief officiator for this specific consecration is Empress Menen. She is the one, according to this article, that presided over the blessing and consecration of this, not a chapel, not just no church, but a monastery in Jerusalem. Huldah, the wife of peace, Shalom. You see, this article clearly say it was Empress Menen. He didn't clearly say, he leave out the Empress, the wife of Emperor. He leave out Emperor too, but Empress Menen, the wife of Emperor Haile Selassie I. He make you know whose wife she is. It is Empress Menen, the wife of Emperor Haile Selassie I, the Empress of Ethiopia. Man, she's the one that presided over it, the consecration of the monastery in Jerusalem. When Josiah rip up his clothes and tell the priest Helkiah and Saphan the scribe, yo, go and find the Lord to explain to us the prophecy, they went to Empress Menen, man. That's the allegory fulfilled. They went to Huldah. Some of you who was too touchy, they went to Huldah, who was at Jerusalem in the college, the wife of Shalom. So as Rastafari, when the mother of creation, because according to some, Rasta just started to say Empress Menen. We spoke about that already. I don't even want to go there. Maybe I should just give it a quick touch, eh? Yeah, I should just give it a quick touch. As I said, as Bobo Shanti, we have a creed that specifies that God is a man and a woman. Eh? The creed says so. It says so twice. King Alpha and Queen Omega. Going into Zion says so too. King Alpha and Queen Omega. Mother and father of creation. You know? Same thing when we go into Zion to end the hymn. We clarify that there's a father and mother of creation. This is long before Muta Baruka declared it. So yes, so Rasta start. Remember Muta Baruka declared it in 2003, and since then Rasta started to say Haile Selassie and Empress Menen. Yo, 2003. What is this? Yeah, I know the creed since 1997. Well, maybe not, maybe 90, no, not so long. Maybe 1999 also. Yeah, King Alpha and Queen Omega. So I'm saying as Rastafari now, with our Queen Omega, with our mother of creation, carrying out the blessing, leading the priests them in the consecration of a monastery, and the Rastafari woman who represents this woman can't even sneeze in the tabernacle. You're mad. You're crazy. That's madness. Whoever keeping up that, check yourself. If that's what you're keeping up, you're not dealing with Empress Menen. I'm telling you straight up. I mean, wow. It's not that she have a say in them. The emperor not here. She by herself. She and the youth. She carrying out the ceremony. That's big business. Rastafari should look at that. And it says a lot, eh? With even the psychological state of mind that I and I as man tend to have towards woman in general. And you see, it's teachings like this that balance out the clarity. Oh my, give thanks, Mama Menen. Man should think twice before you try tie up your woman Rasta. Yeah, I serious. I serious. You know enough man do that. Don't try pretend now. Yeah. Man should think twice before you try to keep her quiet. Man should think twice if you are a Rastafari and you're saying since 2003, Muta Baruka bust the seal. Well, yeah, Empress Menen Officiates, a man that take underline that. Not a church, a monastery. Big thing that man. King Emmanuel I, Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari. And I'm a man I firm when it comes to, you know, the chance that the Black Christ give us to chant. Sometimes I don't do like when one does invent their own little thing and things. But at this moment, yeah, man, in my heart, I have to say it that way, man. You know what I mean? Empress Menen Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. Do give thanks, you know, for your presence with us. Give thanks for such blessing. Give thanks for such love. You don't know how it is. Life giver and the keeper of life. Remember, the gates are still open there as it relates to the whole project with St. Vincent. I'm sure everyone heard of it by now, but let me just run through it quickly again. If a one desires to make a free heart donation to the brothers and sisters in St. Vincent, the doorway is open towards doing such, and that can be done. You can use I as an avenue to do that. In the two previous videos we did, I kind of went into much detail to explain in detail how that is done. I don't want to label you with that, belabel you with that. Now you could just even check the previous video to this and hear it at the beginning. Or even if you contact me, I could just give you some more detail. But just quickly, what it is really again, if you heard the program I did again with Elder Bongo Wisely, he was clearly showing you, he gave his numbers and the connection, how you could connect with him as the Rasses in St. Lucia really came together like a united front to assist the brothers and sisters in St. Vincent. Well, the United Front specifically, one of the members reached out to me a few days ago and asked me to, you know, to do it underground here, as he has reached out to others across the globe to ask for the Rasses, the Rastafari in the community where they are, you know, to pool whatever financial support they can together and you know, collect it and send it towards them, and the works will be done for the brothers and sisters in St. Vincent. That's basically in a nutshell really what it is. As I said, I'll be collecting that under my company name, that is Rastafari Experience Antigua, as the company, the founders of the company, myself, the Honorable Rastri, as members of this Congress, the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress, within the realms of Rastafari. We'll be approaching all the different houses of Rastafari, making that collection and sending that forward. So when you send it to me now, this is because of my relationship with you as such, why I'm reaching out to you. This is my own initiative to reach out to you now. If you want to be a part of it, it's not that your name is going to be in lights or anything. As I promised, the only thing I can tell you, I will, just for transparency, as you know my standard, you definitely will be receiving like a receipt to show that you have donated to such a cause, your name, you know, when electronic receipt specifically. And I have that record, you have that record for the record's sake. So yeah, we clear that that was done, you know, and that's basically it. I think I would have really covered what it is. You can make that contribution through my Cash App. And if not, you could email me and we will find some other way to make that money transaction. And that's basically what it is. So definitely we do give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life. This is Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip. According to the article, these are the only couple that they ever bowed to. Yeah, Haile Selassie and Empress Menen, you know, they hide so many things from us. I don't want us to know the truth. Look at that. Look what they're hiding from us. Okay? The only couple that they ever bowed to. Give thanks for the life giver. Remember for sure, I ones are telling me that they want their long shank now. The long shank really would come with two shanks. We would have to fit it together. So that's some special orders there. Some long shanks ones are asking for the long shank. But the long shank is really better, you know. But the longer the, I wouldn't say the longer the shank, but he said that King Emmanuel would have had some long shank, like 6 feet or 7 feet, and someone had to be down there holding it and blocking the hole while he pulled. Yeah, man, we've rocked some serious long shanks already in back in the days, I must say. This is not even a long shank, this is a semi-long shank, you know. We give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life. But yeah, for sure, definitely order your chalwa, man. You could definitely get your chalice, and it will be shipped to you wherever you are. Someone just asked me today about shipping some chalices to China. So Xi Jinping must be ready to blaze up the place. Holy Manuel, last yeah. Rastafari. Give thanks for your presence, man. Remember to subscribe to the Shock of the Hour, man. The #1 radio program in the world if you're talking about information and inspiration. I can't see how you're not a member of the Shock of the Hour for sure. And remember, all the books are definitely on Amazon. And let me just highlight again, also very important for sure, to all the mothers out there, your young ones, all the fathers out there, your young ones for sure should be a part of our international homeschool cosmic classes. Once you contact me for sure, I will just send you a copy of the brochure. And even the brochure has a specific link that you could go and see a webinar that we did. I think it's about 45 minutes to an hour long, kind of giving you a briefing of what's going down on the international homeschool. Definitely remember, we touch astronomy and we offer African history and heritage. And remember, the classes are sent out every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Short and nice, not too long and heavy, you know, to drawn out and all of this kind of vibration, but yet still packed with knowledge and packed with information and packed with inspiration for sure. And of course, as we said, you could definitely contact us, precisaac27@gmail.com, pardon me, precisaac27@gmail.com to get more information. And we could even send you a copy of the flyer itself. Yes, my brothers and sisters, as I said, give thanks for your presence with us. Wonderful presentation. Give thanks for Mother Menen. And when I say wonderful presentation, not blowing, not patting myself on the back, I mean wonderful in the sense of we were speaking of Empress Menen. That's the wonderful. You were the one that have to judge if it was a wonderful, if you want to call it presentation. We don't look for the wonderful stuff. This is something from the heart, man. I mean, even speaking of Mama Menen, man, it's like goosebumps throughout the presentation. You know? Give thanks to the Mother of Creation, and love to our Mother who sit and stand with the Almighty God and reign, you know, in supremacy throughout the earth and show the government of the earth what the royal family is all about. Yes, honorable, blessed love. Yeah, man. King and Queen of Creation. Love to the family. Holy Manuelize, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. Yes, give thanks to everyone for sitting in the time, man. Yes, I love to you all. Blessed love.